Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of My Little Conversations. My name is Wanjiko Edna, and I'm so glad to be here today speaking to you guys. So, we'll start off strong with our housekeeping segment, which, if you don't know, is just something random that I want to say or I feel like saying that really can't be a whole episode. That's the whole point. Oh, yeah, something like that. So, anyway, I had a very unreliable service providing encounter with some people, and it is so annoying. So, there's something I was looking for, basically a service that needs to be provided to me, which I am willing to pay. So, what do I do? As the Gen Z that I am in this digital era where there's also I go online. I look for a phone number, because I looked through the website of the first company, so to say, and I called the number. I called that number three times that day. 3 times in a day, no one picks. And I called at like 10 a.m., 12, and then in the afternoon, no one picked my phone. Anyway, by the time I was making the last call in the afternoon around 3, I was like, you know what, let me just send an email. Probably they'll reply. That was that was 3 days ago, and I decided, okay, I haven't called this other company, but let me just email the both places and see which response I get first. So 3 days later, no response. The guys I called never called back. This information is not on either website, but I decided, you know what, this place that I emailed the second time but I didn't call at all, let me try and call. And they're very fast to pick the phone and they answer all my questions. And the conversation didn't even last a minute. And I was thinking, like, a conversation that hasn't lasted a minute would have had me getting out of home, going all the way to town, and getting a mat all the way to South Sea, because that's where Company 1 is at. South Sea, that will cost me like minimum 400 in a day to just go and come back just for a minute of your time. And there's a number on your website, there's an email address on your website, and you all are not opening this. Yeah, that's where these guys fail. Anyway, I am glad I could find someone who is willing to communicate. It feels like I'm begging to get a service that I am going to pay for. I don't want it for free. It is annoying. Anyway, on matters of being annoyed, there's something I came across. Okay, to be honest, I've seen it like twice, and then 2 days ago was the third time, and I was like, this is an amazing topic. This is so amazing because I have been a culprit. I have been very guilty of doing this, and I don't think it's right, for lack of a better word. It is very wrong to be in such and such a state. To be what? To be in such a state. So I know you have read what the topic is. That's what I'm talking about. Mediocrity and a sense of comfortability, which ideally isn't giving. So anyway, um yeah, so I wrote down a lot of notes which I want to read, but they are so long. But I'll read them anyway. Yeah, so the title of this article, which I actually simplified and wrote notes on, and still long, is called Stop Giving Yourself These 10 Common Excuses, Mediocrity, and Failure. But did I write all the 10? Not exactly. But you'll see the excuses that people give themselves to stay in a state of mediocrity. So you might ask, what is mediocrity? It's brought by a sense of comfort and entitlement, and you're just not bothered. And You might be like, how does that, how is that mediocrity? And I will give a very good example that was given in that article, but I didn't write it here. So this in the article, this person gave an example of a hospital where they ordered a machine that was cheaper to save money. The one ordering it was in the procurement department. Did it because it's cheaper, ordered this particular machine because it's cheaper, but it was the wrong one. And it's those two things that are just wrong by something so small. If you're not a professional, you wouldn't know. But this said professional had been told, this person in the department had been told, before you order any medicine, any machines, any equipment, should consult with this and this person. Like, he actually had literally two people he could consult with before he buys anything. So what happens when this machine is used? Someone dies. And that's ignorance, but that's also a sense of mediocrity, because you're so comfortable, or you feel like, I know what I'm doing because I'm in procurement. I'm the one who reads these ninis. What are they called? Contracts. I know what is best for us just because I'm in procurement. So this is a very long article. I summarized it for myself and also for what I'm doing now. I hope it won't take long, but I urge you to listen to this till the end. So I'll just read the points. If you're not achieving what you want, maybe the reason doesn't lie with people. Maybe it's not a situation out of your control. Maybe it's not the fact that you weren't born with advantages. Maybe it has nothing to do with any of the common reasons you give yourself. Instead, it might have everything to do with excuses you choose to believe in. You can't blame other people for your lack of success. You're always in control of your life. You are the only person truly responsible for your life. So this is not in the an interlude that's not in the notes, but this is so true. You have self will, for lack of a better word. Even God said, this is wrong, this is right, but He has given you the will to choose what you want to do. Do you want to do right? Do you want to do wrong? So, continuation. People who think and believe that the world and what it has to offer is one big pie, and for a person's slice to get bigger, someone's slice has to get smaller. When you say the best is already taken, you're just giving yourself an excuse not to try. You're assuming that there is only a fixed amount of good things in the world. If you want to achieve the best, it will be largely defined by you. The outcome of any of your efforts is going to be judged by you. You might come in third place and still think you did your best, because that's good enough. You tried. Stop judging yourself stop robbing yourself of opportunities for victory by refusing to even try. Ultimately, whether you come in first place or not, what matters most is that at the end of the day, you selected a vision for yourself and did everything you could to achieve that vision. That's going to be the measure that you're going to have to live with. That's how you determine the best. Sadly, thinking that the best has already been taken is just an excuse to not even bother trying. When you constantly compare yourself with other people, which most people do, don't be surprised when you come out looking like a loser most of the time. It should ideally be a race with yourself. This happens quite a bit because you compare all the best things you have going on for them with the worst things in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be comparing. If you feel that in a way you are lacking or inadequate in a certain part of your life, you wouldn't be comparing that part of your life with other people. There wouldn't be any need to. This is why it's a bad idea to think of ultimate outcomes in terms of comparison. Instead, run a race with yourself. You should ask yourself, did I try hard enough? Did I believe in something so bad that I got off my ass and made something out of myself? Don't compare yourself with others. If you do, then you will always be on the losing end, since most things you do will be to catch up and they will never matter to you and your goals and dreams. Part of what makes life fun is that there are never any guaranteed outcomes. There's no assurance of victory. If everything was guaranteed and success was dished out on a silver platter to everyone, there would be no point to life. There wouldn't be a life at all as we currently define it, because what gives life excitement, value, and beauty is the fact that nothing can be taken for granted. That's why when you think that you should be guaranteed success for you to try, you are fooling yourself. It doesn't make any logical sense. If life success can be guaranteed, then it would not matter whether you try or not. It will be delivered either way. Stop giving yourself an excuse for failure and mediocrity. Your past doesn't define you. Just because you failed 100 times doesn't mean you're doomed to fail today. You need to understand that a lot of successful people failed many times before they made it big. Just because you've experienced disappointments and setbacks in the past doesn't mean they should define you. The only way to lose is to quit. If you keep trying and spring back and give it your best, you're still in the game. You can still turn things around and achieve your dreams. A winner sees life as a series of possibilities and as an endless series of adventures. One who is a loser, in quotes, will either believe this type of talk and choose to change the comfortable life they have chosen for themselves and improve, or reject this kind of talk and stay in their area of comfort, which is least resistant. They are lazy, not physically, but mentally lazy. Ultimately, if you want to reach a summit, you have to let go of the cave. You have to turn your back on the comfort of the valley and climb up the path to the summit, which is filled with danger. But that's the most exciting part. Unfortunately, in quotes, losers have no way of knowing that. Achieving any kind of success requires sacrifice, which ultimately boils down to one question. To one question. What am I going to give up to achieve the kind of life I want for myself? You will have to give up something. Time is a bare minimum of what you will need to sacrifice. Is this something you're willing to do? What kind of return am I getting from my current sacrifice of time? You have to think like an investor. The questions you need to wrap your mind around: are you making the right sacrifice? Are you trading in your time for the most optimal result? What am I getting for what I am putting in? Is this the best that I can do? And if the answer is no, you can make better sacrifices. For example, if you invest time in the startup idea that you've always had, you'd get better returns. So maybe that's a way to go, although it is scary. Look at what you're doing and what your capabilities are. Understand that these are works in progress. You may not have the right skill to achieve great success, but that doesn't prevent you from taking action, or at the very least, trying and actually putting in effort. When you say you don't have what it takes, you're just freezing your potential to what you have now. You're allowing your limitations and inadequacies to define you forever. This is all you are and all you're capable of becoming. That's what you're telling yourself when you say you don't have what it takes. Lots of people think that success boils down to being at the right place at the right time and doing the right things to produce the right results with the right people. But this isn't the case. There are always ambitious people who are trying day after day, week after week, and month after month to do whatever it takes or however long it takes to achieve the life they demand for themselves. Success is a choice. To get that success, you have to pay your dues. You have to put in the work and do whatever it takes for however long it takes. It is not something that happens overnight. Success requires time. Most importantly, it requires you to challenge yourself and your ideas about who you are and where you are in the world. It challenges you to change. Assuming that some people were quote unquote born to win is convincing yourself not to try. The difference between you and successful people are the excuses you choose to believe every single day. Stop robbing yourself of the victory you could otherwise be enjoying by disabusing yourself of all these excuses. Identify these excuses in whatever form, get rid of them, focus instead on today and your big vision for life. Give it everything you've got and resolve to be a more effective person. In summary, always invest in yourself, have set goals, don't make excuses to avoid trying, and when you get too comfortable, reevaluate. Remember, when you achieve something, that's the time to really put in the effort, not time to lay back. And I will just repeat the summary. The summary is 1. Always invest in yourself. 2. Have set goals. 3. Don't make excuses to avoid trying. And 4. When you get too comfortable, reevaluate. And the last thing is when you achieve something, that's the time to really put in effort, not the time to lay back and get comfortable. So that was a very, very long read. Halfway through, I thought it was shorter. But so, how was I a culprit? I wouldn't want to share this, but I will say last year during the first half of the year, I used to get so many what are they called? Job application forms, job adverts, and all of that. And I was looking for a job. Everyone in my life knew I was, and they would send adverts my way. And you know what I'd do? I'd do the most mediocre thing you could do. I'd get this position I qualify for, send an email, attach my CV, and in that way, I never actually between 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 let's say January till like June, I actually never got a single interview, which is crazy because that's 6 months of sending my CV out and I never got a single interview. But anyway, so what did I do different? I was like, hey, no, this is not normal. I've sent out so many CVs. What's going on? So I decided, I don't know if it's something I noticed immediately, but I decided when I get an advert, I would rather send 5 out of 100 that I'm actually interested in on a very genuine level and put in the effort to craft my CV in a way that fits these positions, write a nice application, blah blah blah, and actually turn down jobs that I don't want to do. And after that, I got a couple, some that I turned down. I actually had two successful interviews that I just turned down. I was like, after the conversation, after reviewing, after understanding what my deliverables will be, I've decided not to do this because I feel like these guys are not seeing my value, which is crazy because I'm at home doing nothing and I'm turning down jobs. And I had to actually sit down and tell my mom and explain to her why I am I'm letting down an opportunity that was presented to me. And sometimes it comes from knowing your value. And this last bit that I've read about how much time are you investing? Are you getting returns that you think are worth it? Or can you put your time and your experience and your skills, can you invest them in a better place and get better returns? And even if it's scary, you should do them. You should do it. So I don't know. When it got to the point that I actually researched about this, it's because I heard about this a third time. The first time was on TikTok, definitely. And someone was talking about how people are just so unbothered. They were doing I think it was for a supplier, like there was an advert put out, a supplier for this and this is needed, write a proposal and send this email. And this person was like, I actually have never gotten so many proposals but had a very easy time to see them out because most of them were so mediocre. Some of them were using ChatGPT AI and on a very evident level. And yeah, and another person also talked about the same, and she was saying she was looking for someone to add to her team in the company she owns, and she actually got like 3 application letters that were identical because they used AI. Most of them were so AI like, they were not personalized at all. And I am very guilty. Between that January and June, I was using AI like every time because I felt the pressure of, I have been sent 100 job like adverts. I have to send out to all these 100 places, which doesn't make sense because ideally you will realize, hiya, I sent my CV huko and I don't even want to work in that place. And I feel like you shouldn't put yourself in a position where you're forcing yourself to work for people you don't want to work for, as much as you really need the money and all that. And I am probably talking from a point of privilege, but if you can, just sieve out places you genuinely want to work with, because even if it's challenging to work in such a place and you really like what you're doing, it's gonna be way more easier than convincing yourself you're getting a paycheck even if you don't like this job at all. So yeah, man, if there's anything I've learned, just don't have space or room at all for being mediocre. Put in 100% effort and you will see the results. You will definitely see the results. So I will be putting out a question tag or a poll, for lack of a better, a poll. Yeah, it's a poll. So please engage with me. I will actually be putting a poll every episode. I'll try and do that, even if it's not associated with the episode. If I don't have something fun to ask that is associated with the episode, I'll just put a random poll about something fun and random. So yeah, if you've gotten this far, thank you for giving me 22 minutes of your time. I hope you really learned something, because this was an eye-opener to see a third person talking about this. The article that they attached is what I read from. I don't remember the name of the article, unfortunately, but I really hope these notes that I have read have really helped. If you want, you can just play them back, by the way, and soak it all in, because I feel like this is wisdom, like a lot of wisdom. Yeah, don't allow yourself to fail because of mediocrity. Don't do that. It's not good. It won't take you anywhere. You'll just be seated, rotting on your bed and couch and doing absolutely nothing. But anyway, it has been lovely speaking today. I feel like I have so much wisdom overflowing. Yeah, I am so glad. I'm so happy I got this out of my chest. Yeah, I am very excited, and thanks for listening. Bye. Thank you for listening again.